to Tom, but a very good morning to Bill Carne of Pembrokeshire Sport.
Hi, Gina. We've missed you too because although you say you don't know much about sport, you provide Tom and I with a different perspective, and it's lovely. So it's nice to see you with us again. You add that certain je ne sais quoi.
Oh, thank you very much.
Okay.
Diolch yn fawr.
Yeah.
Mon plaisir.
Very good morning to you, Bill. And well, it feels like sport is slowly coming back, doesn't it? After all, like international no rugby and just Wales and whatever. But it feels like we've got a full list of sport coming up this weekend.
Yeah, and after Saturday, one of my favourite days of the year. I was born the first day of spring. I love spring, and on Saturday night, I'll willingly give up an hour. And next week, there'll be football in the evenings, you'll be pleased to know, Gina.
Oh, lovely.
And in fact, we should say this is our first opportunity to wish you a very happy birthday. Pembroke Tapas, Bill, for in the week. And it's another Junie round the sun. Helen Marie's joined us, Bordeaux, Tom, Gina, and Bill. Bill, she's sticking with the Welsh as well. Bill, the thing which I want to start with this morning, you mentioned him last week. He's flying the flag in the cricket, and he's doing incredibly well.
Yes, the Woody has started for Namibia. The competition is over now, I think. But Simon Wood went out to South Africa with the Wales over 50s. He's a fantastic, stylish batsman, cracking bowler. He follows in the family footsteps. Gina will know the name Barry Wood.
Yeah.
Cliff would have played with him at some time and learned a lot from him. And the family are born cricketers, and he top scored with 45 not out against Namibia. And he also had a score of 44 when they beat the United Arab Emirates. But they also beat Australia, Tom and Gina, by 4 runs. Yes. And then they lost by 5 wickets to England. And they reached the bowl final, which is the secondary competition. And they lost by 1 wicket to the West Indies there.
Wow.
So one experience for Simon. Yeah. I'm sure he'd have plenty to say if you invited him on a Monday night. Yeah. Nice. Right. And a cracking, very modest, very unassuming, very quiet person.
I think you're right. That is what an achievement and what an experience to go through. And you say that's because that's for older cricket players, isn't it? This tournament. And
no, that's for younger players as far as
wow, that's amazing. That's as far as you're concerned.
You could join in with that one then, Tom.
Yeah, I get that one. Because I'm just thinking off the top of my head, we had Jeremy Cross on the show on Monday. He's representing Team GB at the over 45s. You've interviewed Mickey Algieri in the last couple of weeks, who's going to the over 70s World Cup with the football as well. So there's tennis, there's football, there's cricket, all being represented throughout the lifespan. I think it's great.
Yeah, and what's great for me as well, I know Gina will agree, it's also nice to see the growth of women's sport. When you think now, if we can just chat about that briefly, a week tomorrow, the ladies of Whitland and Haverfordwest will be travelling with busloads of supporters to Principality Stadium to play in the Welsh finals in their particular segment. Whitland are in the bowl, which is the secondary one, and Haverfordwest are in the plate. They're playing, in the National Stadium. It's great. It's never been done before. Whitland have won tournaments, but we've never had those. And on Monday night, we're going to have on the show Sue Davis from Whitland and Steve Barnett from Haverfordwest, respectively team manager and coach, saying what it means to their clubs and what it means to the fellas in the club to see them as well.
Yeah. I think it's fantastic. I remember it wasn't very long ago that Haverfordwest Rugby Ladies Club was almost disbanded. Like they couldn't get the players, and here they are.
Yeah, that's right. And they're bonding bunch. They stick together. My contact there is a lovely lady called Jana Neumann, whose sister Lisa will be playing for Wales in rugby alongside Jazz Joyce this weekend. It's fantastic.
It is, yeah. Lisa and Jazz, both what are they? They're good adverts for rugby of north of the county, aren't they? Yeah, Lisa Neumann starting on the wing for Wales again. She's solidified that spot. It's fantastic. Talking of tournaments, Haverfordwest County is trying to qualify for Europe, and they're going the right way about it.
Yeah, they're 4 points clear in 7th place now, which means that they're doing well. But as we say every week, this weekend is another must-win because the competition is so severe, really, and they're playing Carnarvon this week. We're one place below and 4 points adrift. Carnarvon were fourth in the Premier last year. They're no mugs. The 3 games this year, they've been very close. Haverfordwest won 1-0 at home. That was the first game of the season. And then they lost 2-1 at the Oval. And then by 2-0 at the Oval when the conference convened earlier on this month. So it's a desperate game for both of them. They'll want to win that. The manager of the Canaries, or the Covies as they're known, Carnarvon, has been Hugh Griffiths for a long time. But it looks as if he was sacked after the game last week when they lost to Aberystwyth. So he's gone. And Richard Davis, the assistant, taken over. So an interesting game. And can I just say, I don't want to wrap it on too long, but we've heard lots somewhere when people join Haverfordwest about how great they're going to be. Some have been good, some not quite so good. But Dan Hawkins made his debut last week, 21 years old. Tony Pennock had come across him at Hull City and at Swansea and was impressed by him, and so was the crowd there. Came on, scored within a couple of minutes. Tom, he's quick.
Yeah, okay. And it's what the Bluebirds have needed, haven't they? Someone that can get behind that defensive line and actually make the most of a through ball. I think it's great they've got that option. And of course, Ben Fawcett getting back on the score sheet as well. And of course, Ben Fawcett has represented Wales C team previously. Bluebirds represented again this time around with the Wales C team with one of their new signings this season, Jenkins.
Yeah, Lee Jenkins came from Aberystwyth. Very solid defender. What you see is what you get with Lee. I like that. And it'll be interesting. And I know everybody at the Bridge Meadow is delighted to have a representative in that team.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. We'll stick with the Bridge Meadow actually because they've got some semi-finals on the way.
Oh, do you know, this is the time where I love with that. There's nothing better than a football floodlit semi-final or final at the Oggy Bridge Meadow Stadium. It's a great treat for locals. Gina, the best way to compare it is like playing in the Harrison Allen at Criselli in the cricket, you know.
Oh, yes, a big game.
Yeah, the old lights go on there. There's huge crowds. If Haverfordwest had those crowds every week, they would be absolutely thrilled. I can see we've got Stephen Pelly Price on before he goes out and cleans the roads of Haverfordwest. Keep it up, Pelly. And they're great games, and they're different competitions, which is unusual. We already know Goodwick are in the final of the Senior Cup. Who they meet will be decided on Wednesday, 7 o'clock. I think the start is there. Kilgetty were 7th in the table, play Monkton Swifts, who are 5th. So one of those sides will have a bit of glory this year in the final. Swifts won the one game they played this year by 3-1. So all to play for there. And then if that's not enough excitement, the next night is the West Wales Cup semi-final, where all the top teams from Pembrokeshire, Carmarthenshire, Nice and Swansea play. And in that game, it's an all Pembrokeshire semi-final. Sadly, I say sadly because I'd like to have seen them both in the final because they're good enough. Care, who were 6th, play Hakin, who were 3rd in Pembrokeshire. That didn't matter a bit, I suppose, really. Hakin won the only game between them, 3-2 at Carew this year. So that's Thursday night, and I think that's a 7:30 start. And the winners then, they go on to the Liberty Stadium, and that's a great night. Gordon Fraser and I usually go on block to that and have a cracking night evening out watching that.
Oh, fantastic. 2 consecutive nights of great competitive football at the Oggy Bridge Meadow Stadium. That is great. And it's a great advert for Pembrokeshire football that there's going to be a Pembrokeshire side at the Swansea.com stadium, isn't it? There's old habits, isn't it? And that fixture coming up, which is fantastic. And there's going to be a full fixture list in the Manderwood Pembrokeshire League as well.
Yeah, almost. There's 5 games, I think, going ahead. Goodwick haven't got a game this weekend. But there's some interesting fixtures there. Claverson Road, who've moved up to 4th and doing well. They play Merlin's Bridge, who are 2nd, and won 4-2 when the sides met earlier on in the season. And then you've got Monkton Swifts against Hakin. It could be an interesting tussle there, that's for sure. 5th versus 3rd. Hakin won 4-0 when they played at the Observatory. So there's all to play for there. And then you've got sort of clashes then where Neyland, who are 8th, play Fishguard Sports, who are 10th. So that's the other extreme then, when both want the points for obvious reasons. Neyland are playing well. They won 3-2 when they played at Fishguard. So the Sports will want those points because they're 10th. And with 12 sides in the table, they want to be clearer than that. And then Penna Robbins, who are also hovering on a 9th spot. They're at home to Kilgetty. Penna were 7th. Kilgetty caused a bit of a surprise when they lost at home. You'll be sorry to know, Gina, by 4-3 to the Robins. And in the last game, St. Ishmael's, who were 11th, played Carew, who were 6th. When they played at Carew, it was 7-0 to Carew. So it looks as if Carew will have the edge there. But I say it's just nice to see that. And there will be a full programme of games on, I suspect, Tuesday and Thursday next week. And incidentally, talking about midweek, Tom, I'll whisper it, but Mrs. Carne has already given me passes to both semi-finals next week.
Oh, so you'll
Was that your birthday present?
Yes.
Yes.
No, she's an angel. She's never ever done anything but said, if you enjoy it, you go.
She's glad of the peace, Bill.
No, other people have said that.
I love it. And of course, my mind's just twigged. Of course, the clock's changed this weekend. Those evening fixtures, they're going to be glorious, hopefully.
Yeah. Great.
Oh, that's really good. And then moving our attention then to rugby. So Six Nations is over and done with. Wales avoided the wooden spoon. It was an improved performance. Not enough to get the win against arguably one of the favourites for the World Cup in the summer, France. But a much better performance. And of course, Stephen Varney playing as well, which is great for Italy. But looking locally, rugby returns properly.
Yes, and I'd say well done to Stephen. His father, Adrian, is a lovely bloke as well. He played rugby for Nice when they were the best side in Europe and knows his rugby onions. And I'm chuffed for Stephen, although I'm sad that he's playing for Italy and not for Wales. He's very much half Italian, so it's very appropriate he's there. What a find for them, blimey. But yeah, in games this week, Narberth are travelling to Bethau in Rhondda and Taf. Narberth won at home 21-13. So they'd be looking for the double, but Bethau at home are a different kettle of fish. They got very strong support, very vociferous support. So a tough game for the Otters, who've had a couple of setbacks recently. In Division 1 West, you've got bottom versus top, local derby almost. Pembroke, who were bottom, played Crimmock, who were top. And Crimmock won at home by 66-5. And they'll be hot favourites to win that.
Yeah.
Me saying that will raise the tempo for Pembroke. Garrick Lewis will say, to show that old geezer he's wrong. And good if they do. And then Whitland, who are 11th, played Newcastle Emlyn, who are 2nd. So there's two bottom versus top games. Emlyn won at home 36-6. They'll be looking for the double. I hope Whitland and Gareth Bennett can raise the tempo there and get something out of it. Division 2, Fishguard and Goodwick, who are 7th, played Pontedilla. So the Pont are top. They haven't lost a game yet, and they won comfortably at home by 25-8. Milford Haven, who are 11th, travelled to Croyce, who are 10th. So that's a bottom of the table clash. And I'm hoping the Mariners can get something out of that. Croyce won at home 13-3. And Mumbles entertain Tenby United. That's a classy game. Tenby 4th and doing well. Mumbles who are 2nd. And Tenby won 25-24 at home. So you can see how close that is, yeah.
Yeah. And
then very quickly, Tom and Gina, there's 4 games in Division 3 West A. Cardigan, who are 8th, play Haverford 5th. The Blues won 67-0 at home. They won't beat Cardigan this time by 67-0, I wouldn't think. High-scoring games. Larne, who are 4th, entertained Langham, already having won at Pill Parks by 17-0, would you believe?
I was there.
Yeah, yes, you're watching your nephew, yeah. Peridot Quins entertained Nayland. Good local derby, just one quick stop over the bridge. I remember the days, Gina, when the teams used to cross over on the boat.
Oh, gosh, that's going back many years. That's even before my days, Bill.
No, I know that. Yeah. And Nayland won at home 25-7. They're playing well. Nayland look a good side now. They started to really develop. Yeah, good. And Tregaron at home were bottom. Play St. David's who are 8th. I'm pleased the Saints are making that long journey. It's not easy, but they have got a chance of another win there. They've done quite well this year. They're 8th, which is their best position for a long time. So a ton of rugby this weekend, and it's nice.
Yeah. No, it'd be good if the Saints can consolidate them. What hopefully I'm classing as a successful season. It's definitely been a step up for them, hasn't it, compared to what we've been used to? Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to Chris Morgan, their assistant coach, in the week, and he's pleased with the way it's gone. They've lost a couple of games. They lost in the last second to Aberairon. Just terrific performance, but they could have won that. And they've lost a couple of games like that. Jack Dudley is the effervescent coach. I used to tease those pair because at one time they were props at the same time for St. David's with a combined weight of 50 stone.
Yeah.
So I was just say I wouldn't mind playing hooker between those two because I'd look thin.
I'll join you, Bill.
But I won't tell you what Chris Morgan said in answer to that.
I hope he was polite. And then you've just mentioned Nayland there as well, who are playing well. And of course, he didn't make it into the match day squad, but Sam Parry was called up to the Wales overall squad, which could be a good marker for the World Cup squad that will be announced later on this year.
I hope so. I think Sam has been playing brilliantly, and he somehow seems to have sort of fallen through the net. And he's a very, very talented player. He's a thinker as a hooker as well. I'm hoping he will. There's some strong opposition, but I'm hoping his time will come very soon. Yeah.
He's only got a few caps, but he's already got a few tries to his name as well, isn't he? He knows how to cross the line.
He's good at matching on the end of those drive-in line-out mauls,
Yeah. And then you've already mentioned two of the guests. Remind us as to who we're going to be hearing from on Monday evening on the Pure Sports Show with Ethan Evans and Morris.
Well, we've got Sue Davis and Steve Barnett. Fraser's talked to Martin Edwards, who's the head coach of Milford Schools. Very successful football team. Our Matthew Rickard's boy is captain of that, and he's a very good player, Owen. So they're talking to Martin. Martin was a very successful rugby player with Newcastle Emlyn and Crimich, and now he's doing well there with the school's football. And he's also going to talk to Rhys Buckley, who's a junior school teacher. Now, is it called Havens Reach? What's the name of the school now?
Cleddau Reach.
Cleddau Reach now, yeah. Sorry, Rhys. He's a junior school teacher, and he's walking in Easter holidays over 7 days, the whole of the coastal path. That's a long way in 7 days, and that's for charity as well. So there's some nice people there, and of course you'll have a guest on as well, and your effervescent self with one or two other charlatans of sport.
I'm sure it'll be another jam
time to tell you a very funny story.
There's always time for a funny story.
When we were coming home from Llanharry, it's a tradition now that my wife and I text our grandson Llewellyn, who's 8, when we stop at Pont Aberon for a cuppa. So I sent him a lovely long text to say, no star Llewellyn, go to sleep, my lovely boy. No star, my handsome boy, go to sleep. A good boy for Mama. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And back comes a text from Gordon saying, yeah, thanks, Bill. I'll do my best. And thanks for calling me a handsome boy. I sent it to Gordon, not Llewellyn, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. It's a good job you know each other well.
Yeah. And I put lots of kisses at the bottom and emojis with me blowing kisses.
Oh, that's going to be with you forevermore, Bill.
As long as it's not with Gordon forevermore.
Oh, that is brilliant. Right. I just wish I was there when Gordon read it. Bill, thank you so much, as ever, for joining us again on this Friday morning for the Pembrokeshire Sports Update. It is Feel Good Friday, Bill, so it's Gina's favourite time of the morning.
Well, that's nice. It's nice to hear that. Last week, you as you reminded me, I played Asia from the 80s, and there are some very good groups. Mrs. Carne likes Asia. We've seen them a couple of times. I'm going back to the 60s, of course, now. And next couple of weeks, I'm going to provide you some nice music from the ladies of that time. And one of my favourites, she's a real, I say Cardiff girl, she's not, but she lives in that area, I think. That was Bonnie Tyler, Total Eclipse of the Heart. There's a voice. Gina, I bet you can rock that out, can't you? That song?
Well, I have been known to do it once or twice, Bill.
Yeah.
Turn around, will you?
I think you're going to play live on air now.
Go on then. We'll have a big old sing-along right now. Bill, thank you so much. We're coming up to 7:30. It's been a Pembrokeshire Sports Update. We'll do it again all next week. We'll find out what those results were and what else is happening in the world of Pembrokeshire sport. Coming up next, we've got Bonnie Tyler, Total Eclipse of the Heart. Have a great weekend, Bill.
Everybody have a nice time, especially you, Gina. It's lovely to see you. And
Thank you. I'm going to give lots of kisses to Bill now. Mwah, mwah.
Mwah, mwah, mwah.
No,
Feel Good Friday with Pem's Paving. Your